Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. If gold succeeds, silver will follow. Let's explore. We're going to take a look at an article here from FX Empire, and it's coming to us from several different forked prongs in terms of silver's movement in the upwards direction here in the last few days. But essentially, silver has been one of those metals that has really been lagging behind gold for quite some time. But amidst the current crisis that we are in, silver has been making some movements upwards in the physical markets, detaching itself even more so from the spot price that we see on paper. And I believe that continued demand for the physical metal will continue to play out. But I think that all depends on gold. Let's take a look at this article here and cover it from a couple different fronts. The author wrote yesterday about the breach of the key 20 EMA level that was setting the scene for rapid upside momentum in silver. This is exactly what happened in practice since silver prices enjoyed fast upside soon after the 20 EMA was breached. The upside move coincided with a major move in the equity markets and positive price action on the gold price front. The equity markets remain optimistic about stabilization on the virus front, while gold continues its effort to settle above $1,700. I know some people had said that it had risen up there, but of course the paper prices we see are right around that $1,653 level. But obviously some of these bullion dealers are posting higher prices on their websites, which means they're probably quoting futures prices. In the opinion of the author, gold's upside is an important catalyst for the potential silver upside. If gold is able to gain ground above $1,700 per ounce, more money will flow into the precious metal sector, which will benefit silver. And I agree with that. In fact, a lot of people, I believe, will start to see the excitement for gold and realize that for many people, that could be out of their reach. So they will turn to silver. We're already kind of seeing that happen. Meanwhile, the US dollar is showing weakness due to optimism in the markets, and the US dollar index is back below the psychologically important 100 level. The US dollar continues to serve as a safe haven asset of last resort, while the precious metal sector is periodically vulnerable to negative economic and healthcare data. To continue the upside move, silver will likely require additional positive data on the healthcare front. Investors would not expect any positive economic data in April, as all economies are under heavy pressure from virus containment measures. But that is one thing to be taken into account as another pronged approach. Silver's need in the medical field, in the medical sector. Silver is an antimicrobial, and more than likely its use as sort of a cleaning agent will prevent not only bacteria from forming, but probably some weak viruses too. Because, these corona-type viruses, don't survive so well among some of these cleaning agents. They are literally antiviral in that factor before they enter the body. It remains to be seen how long the current optimism in the equity markets will continue, since the S&P 500 has already recovered from 2,200 to levels above 2,700. So the backup, the week's data is more heavy data. The markets will have to digest another U.S. initial jobless claims report, which could create downside risk for many asset classes. These jobs have been bleeding out for sure, but hopefully the stimulus will help recover some of those job losses when these checks go out and aid and assistance for some of these small businesses. We'll see how that plays out. But the thing to keep in mind here is the gold to silver ratio. Right now it's hovering between 110 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold, which is certainly a high that we're seeing on the paper front. but it's not reflecting itself on the physical front. How those numbers are determined anywhere between 80 to 75, still relatively high, but much more normal than what we've seen before this crisis at around 85, 86 to 1. Taking account those physical numbers just depend on, the factors. It's a totally different number than it is when you buy and sell it. And that's the thing to keep in mind here. But most people are buying. The demand for both metals is high, but I think especially silver causing the price to go up. And people are buying it and holding on to it. And the demand for it is going to, I think, increase as we see the price of silver or of gold go above the $1,700 level. And then we have this from Kitco. Commerce Bank, gold to silver ratio below 110. Actually, as we saw just earlier, did creep up a little bit above 110. Silver still considerably undervalued. The gold to silver ratio is at 109, having fallen below the 110 level for the first time in a few weeks as silver gains ground on the yellow metal, said Commerce Bank analyst Karsten Fritsch. The ratio measures how many ounces of silver it takes to buy 1 ounce of gold, with a declining number meaning silver is outperforming gold and vice versa, as we know. Gold rose sharply on Monday as equities did likewise, and the yellow metal is holding on to those gains so far Tuesday. One theory for gold's rise is that when the COVID-19 lockdowns end around the world, pent-up demand will meet limited supply, resulting in inflation that could benefit gold, Fritz said. That is one explanation why stocks in gold were moving in tandem yesterday, the analyst said, up by a good 4%. Silver gained even more sharply than gold yesterday, as we noted too. As of 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time Tuesday, spot gold was steady at $16.60.70 an ounce, while silver was up 22 cents to $15.23. We've since those levels back off a bit. As a result, the gold to silver ratio has dropped below 110 again for the first time since mid-March. That said, silver remains considerably undervalued. And I do think that is really where we're at. I think that's a safe assumption to say now that there's been this renewed interest in the white metal as increased demand for the physical plays out. As of the recording of this video, the precious metal prices are actually down a bit, taking a bit of a hit here, but still, gold is comfortably above $1,650 on the paper markets here. Silver is now above $15 an ounce, and that's a number we haven't seen in a while. Comfortably above that number, of course, is just barely right now, but still, the fact that it's creeping back up in the paper markets is encouraging, and I think that will bolster some physical demand, especially if we start to see gold make an upwards movement up to, $1,700 in the paper markets. Already you're lucky to find any gold out there for anywhere near $1,700 an ounce if you're going to buy the gold. And silver, $22. So the demand out there for the physical is still strong, and with news of other mints shutting down facilities and refineries and whole nations as far as the mining and logistics and travel and transfer and supply chains, I think you're likely to see increased demand, even as we see some supply chains being fulfilled, at least temporarily. It won't last long, and I think that this will be with us for a while. And the longer that it stays with us, I think the higher the precious metal prices go. And I believe we might even see a further widening of the physical from the paper price. But that widening will occur even with rising paper prices, I believe. And we'll just see how it all plays out. But as gold, the success for gold, I think, is more appreciable in the paper markets as well as the physical markets. And that will only help silver in the long run. So I do believe with the article here that will take place. So there you have it. And what about you? What are your thoughts on this? Is this a situation where you're still holding off to see how long this will last? I believe we're going to see it for quite some time to come. I would say at least at the end of the month, because that's where the national guidance is. But a lot of these states and some of these other nations They're especially Mexico. We're still not sure exactly where they stand with the virus and how that will play out as it works its way through territories in Mexico. There you have it. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.